Welcome back, everybody. It's your time to ed up on the EdUp Experience podcast, where we make education your business. This is Dr. Joe Salustio back with you on another episode. But this is a special one. Why, you would ask? That would be a natural question for you to ask. Why? Because we are here recording live at Ellucian Live 2025 in Orlando, Florida at the Orange County Convention Center. I don't think it's called the Orlando Convention Center. That could be. I'm not sure. But I do know that we have an amazing first guest with us, and it's actually her third time on the podcast, which is very rare air, I might add. Very rarely do we allow... Is that the right word, Elvin? No, it's probably not. I don't want to be that guy. Very rarely do we have a guest come on multiple times, but the conversation around what's happening in higher education, particularly as we see the convergence of the digital technology and student experiences all coming together. You can't pull them apart anymore. They are intertwined forevermore. That conversation has to be discussed. We have to talk about how we're moving this industry forward. So we have an amazing guest with us today, and I'm going to bring her in. But before I do, I want to introduce my co-host and also a fill-in host, because I'm going to be doing some double duty stuff. He's going to be filling in. You know him. You've heard him before. If you work in higher education, you know his voice. He came from a large association. He knows presidents. He knows board members. He knows everybody. Ladies and gentlemen, he is Dr. Chris Maloney. Chris, welcome to the EdUp Mic. How are you?
Hey, Joe. Thanks for having me. Great to be here. Rupa, great to see you as well.
See, now there's the rookie mistake. That's okay, Chris. Every time we do these podcasts that somebody co-hosts for the first time, they divulge the name of the guest before, but it's okay. That's why we have you on. Ladies and gentlemen, our guest, her name is Rupa Saran. She's Vice Chancellor and Chief Information Technology Officer at Coast Community College District. Rupa, how are you?
I'm well, Joe. Thank you for having me.
Thanks for being here. I was actually going to do a little bit more of a dance with Chris, but since he divulged who you were, I had to bring you in right away.
Whoops.
Yeah, that's it. That's all right. But that's what we do here. We roll with the mistakes here at the EdUp Experience because what we do is organic, Rupa. And, you've been here. You've since taken on an even bigger role since the last time we talked to you. Tell us a little bit about what's going on at Coast Community College District and what you're doing.
Absolutely. But before I start that, I want to congratulate you for your award-winning EdUp.
Oh, well, thank you very much. Yes, we won a Best Award for higher education, a podcast show that we did with a guest. Anytime we can win an award, it's great. And, it's about the conversation we're having in higher ed. It's important right now, isn't it?
Absolutely, absolutely. So since we spoke last time, so there are a few things that I've been doing for our district, Coast Community College District. One of the biggest one that we're doing right now is modernization, journey to modernization with SaaS. The second piece I'm also leading, like you said, I've picked up so many different.
Yeah, how do you keep it all straight?
Just like you. I am also leading a system-wide for California Community College system. There is a huge initiative for Common Cloud Data Platform. Again, to help our students. Bottom line is to centralize, bring in data from all districts. But this is a demonstration project. So we started off with 6 districts to demonstrate this is something we can do. It doesn't matter which district, if we are a multi-district, multi-college, single, urban, whatever it is, we want to demonstrate that we can bring those districts into this initiative called Common Cloud, bring in their data, and how do we help our students? How do we make it easier for our students? So that's really exciting project, and I am just really excited to do that one, and that is going really well. We're in our 12 months milestone, and we're just delivering. Obviously, Ellucian is our partner in that crime as well. So yes, and that's working well with 6 districts. And really why I am so excited is it is driven by the field. What I mean by that is I, like myself, and I have a couple of other colleagues, the CTOs, that we're leading this initiative from the field because we are the one who actually know the pain points for what our students are feeling or what our staff is feeling. So leading with my colleagues, Joe and Gary, we have started with 6 districts, and now we're bringing a second cohort, additional 7 districts. And this is a grant-funded $10 million project.
Wow.
That we're starting to demonstrate. And there is additional budget ask for that as well from the governor's budget. So exciting times.
Yeah, I bet. And Chris, I'm going to pass it to you because I forgot to tell everybody what you do for Ellucian, which I'll have you fill in the blank too, because you do an important, very important role. But this word that you just used, I caught it and I'm sticking with it, and I want to ask you about it because many would say pilot project. You said demonstration project. That for me is a very intentional word. You use that on purpose. Can you just talk about that difference?
Absolutely. So actually, I have to give the credit to our state chancellor, Dr. Sonia Christian. She's the one who came up with that word.
That's awesome. It makes such a huge difference in mindset.
It is, because pilot is just something that either you're starting to see, okay, whatever it is, the pilot program, but
it could fail. A pilot could fail. A demonstration, it's accepted, right? There's a big difference.
There is. And you're demonstrating that we can do this. And that was really important to our chancellor, Dr. Christian, right? So let's start with the actual districts and the willing parties. Bring them in, let's demonstrate, and let's deliver. And that is what the exciting part is for me, that we are hitting. We put ourselves with milestones, 3 months, 6 months, 9, 12, and 15 months is where we go live, like it's done. And then we start bringing additional districts. So to me, that is really important. And demonstration part is exciting because people are seeing the results. It's not just like, okay, we're demonstrating and we're looking for additional funding. And I'm just keeping my fingers crossed. I think we're going to get it.
You better give it to her. Chris.
Well, it's great to meet you, Rupa.
What do you do, by the way, here at Ellucian?
Yes, thank you, Joe. So I work with our managed services team and under our strategic services group at Ellucian. So work very closely with CIOs who are placed on campuses. But a big emphasis of what we do on the EMS side is helping those campuses that work with us that have CIOs who are Ellucian employees. How do we help them figure out how to modernize and get on that path to SaaS and all these other important things? I'm very curious about how this all started for you, and sort of how did you rally people to this cause and get everybody bought in? Because that can be a very complicated and very challenging endeavor.
It is, and I'm not going to take the credit on me for all to me, right? Because it is group of us started. So it started a few years ago, kind of talking about centralization, about whether we bring in our ERP or data. How do we do this? And this is kind of these conversations have been going on for a few years. And last a year and a half or so, this is when actually this demonstrations project started. So we've been talking about helping each other, right? Because we are 73 districts in California for community colleges, 116 community colleges.
I mean, there's so many. You think about the scope of any kind of project. It's massive. I mean, massive.
Well, wait for it. 2.1 million students that we serve.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and we're the biggest system. And how do we help our students? How do we help our staff? Because the whole thing started with some districts are so small, they have such a small IT shop, they can't really keep their heads above the ground here. And our district, we're fortunate, we're big. I have 3 colleges, and we are serving about 50,000 students. So yes, we do have resources, but it was more about balancing and bringing the smaller districts into the modern way of doing things. And most importantly for students, if they are looking for the data, if they want to do transfer, how do they do all this rather than going to, if you attended 3 different schools, you're jumping in, going to all 3 different places to get things. How do we centralize everything? So kind of this was the gist of this conversation. And then when Chancellor Christian came into her role as a state chancellor, conversation kind of really moved fast. If you don't know her, her
mover and a shaker.
Speed, right? And I love working with her. So it was kind of like, okay, do we want to do this? Let's go let's demonstrate, and then we can ask for more funding. So that whole thing was started with that. And also one of the things in California, we call it MIS, Management Information System Reporting. Based with that report, we get our funding. So doing that piece is also really cumbersome. We have to have most of our districts, including mine, 1 full-time person just doing that.
I mean, the word cumbersome never comes out in higher ed, right?
Never at all. Never.
Yeah.
So how do we solve that? So we started with that also. We want to solve that and modernize that process. And Ellucian actually is coming up with modern way of submitting, checking MIS. So that's really a great partnership with Ellucian here as well. So excited about that too. And obviously, once this is done, we're going to start adding more and more. We want to bring in AI. We have, and I'm sure every other system, same thing, fraudulent applications, fraudulent financial aid. How do we stop that? So we want to take care of that, bringing AI, transfers from community colleges to CSU or UCs. How do we make it easier for our students? So there's so much we can do with this central and common cloud.
That Title IV fraud piece is like really, you look at what is happening around us right now and I don't ever get political. I don't go over politics, but if you actually look at what has happened, one of the questions is what happens, who's going to be looking if there is any kind of fraud, any kind of, somebody taking advantage of the system. The institution I most recently came from, I remember we had a student who was who was applying for Title IV, and we went through all of the checks and balances and found out they were taking out $15,000 from another major, like Big Ten university. They were taking out Title IV from that university and then enrolling in ours. And you go, wait a minute, we can't have that. We have to have some checks and balances internally too, but you can't do that stuff without technology.
Yes.
You just can't. You have to have speed. And it's funny because I'm going on a rant here, but I was just in front of a bunch of board members and presidents giving a presentation about digital transformation. And one of the board members came up to me right beforehand and said, you really need to boil this down for us. Like, how do we understand it? So you'll appreciate this. So I'm getting started and I'm about to present. And I said, okay, we're going to talk about how we define digital transformation. I said, so everybody take out your flip phone. And of course, nobody has a flip phone. I said, you've partaken in digital transformation. Now, it's that easy.
I love that, though. That
it's
is
true.
Such a great example.
Right? We do every day.
I'm going to steal it, though.
Yeah. And I said, okay, now go to your hotel room and get on cable. Nobody, like, we don't even have cable anymore. No, now if you take how much we expect that in our personal lives and the need we have for it, and then in our professional lives in higher ed, we don't bring that same level of speed to what we do. That's the challenge.
Yeah.
And I love to hear a chancellor and you, frankly, talking about speed. How important is that thought to what you're doing?
Well, the speed is really important to me personally, as well as Dr. Christian, right? Because the longer we take, the longer we're impacting our students. That's the bottom line, right? So with this, what we're doing, we're not going into our individual district's ERP system.
Right.
We are just pulling the data and then kind of figuring out that how do we make use of that data to help our students. And that is how we're actually gaining the speed. Because if you go through ERP, that's a huge, huge deal in itself, right?
Yep.
But what we need is the data and bring it into commonplace and let's kind of standardize, modernize, whatever we need to do, but bringing data. And that's what we were looking to do, and that's what we did. We start pulling data and start transforming, and then start using that data for students, right? So using and bring in AI. So I want to go back to financial aid fraud, right? So currently, yes, we're solving it for our own district. But the way California Community College system work is we have a common application. It's called CCC Apply. Students apply. And then it just trickles down to whatever the college they want to go. As a bad actor, if I caught you, then they're going to go to the next college.
Right.
Right? So how do we stop? My vision, and this is what I've spoken with Dr. Christian as well, is let's stop it at the entry level. Let's do something where we bring all the data into our common cloud and stop it right here. So once you hit this, find this bad actor, stop.
Yep.
They can't go anywhere else. So we don't want to take 6 years to do that. We need to do it now. And so that's what we're doing. The speed is the important piece. And for second cohort, what I'm looking for is because we're getting everything set up with our partners, and first cohort, yes, we gave ourselves 15 months to do this. And once we have all lessons learned, kinks out, next one, 6 months. And then we start bringing, and then maybe bring it down further down. And as we start scaling up, I want to get this thing done in 4 to 6 months and start bringing district after district and bring that tool, the modernization to our colleges, our staff, most importantly, our students.
That's great. You've mentioned AI a couple of times, so I want to pick your brain about how you're thinking about AI
sound effect,
and how you're thinking about it in the long term as you continue down this process.
Yes. So in higher ed, it is a little bit of a sensitive topic with our faculty members.
No,
a little bit,
Rupa. tad a bit. But I mean, seriously, change is hard. It's unknown, and people don't like it. And I think the important thing is to make sure that they're aware, spread the awareness, and find your champions. And I've been working with some of our college's academic senate presidents who are champions, right? And they understand. And I kind of start bringing them into AI Summit. And that's when it was kind of like, it went like that. It's like, oh, this is really wonderful. What else can we do? How do we do this? And then that Senate president is the person who is talking to the academic senate, to the faculty. Are they all in? No, absolutely not. More on the STEM side, they're more excited and interested. Especially, I think the concerns are on the English and history, right? On that kind of an area. And I understand their awareness, their fearfulness, right? So bottom line is, how do we make them comfortable? How do we show them that AI, simple term, garbage in, garbage out.
Right.
It's with data. Whatever we feed in, that's what is going to come out. There is nothing else. It's artificial. And my thing with other faculty member, my fellow, colleagues, like, yes, we have AI, but think about HI, human intelligence. Yeah. We are above artificial intelligence. So that's the tool. It's bottom line, it's just a tool, nothing else. Right? People are just scared about AI.
Well, and one of the things that I think we are doing a poor job across the industry saying, when that student graduates and goes and gets a job, and it doesn't matter what kind of job, that employer is going to be expecting them to know and use AI tools.
Exactly.
So if our job is as faculty and administrators is to serve the student and prepare them for the workforce, we have to adopt artificial intelligence. We have to teach them how to use it, because otherwise, we're preparing them to fail in today's work world. The employers are going to go, how fast can you get up to speed on these tools that we have? We're using them at Ellucian. You're using them. The student has to use AI.
Yeah. So one of the things that we're doing system-wide, again, from our system, one of the things that we're bringing in is called course assistance, and the company's Nectar AI that we're using. And it's a pilot program that if you're interested as a district, as a faculty member, to use that. So what that does is basically it's you bring it into your LMS, and it's your private chat GPT, if you will. Right?
Nice.
As a faculty member, you're uploading your academic, your syllabi, whatever it is that you want to, the resources, so the students can just go in and do whatever they need to. They can talk to that course assistants. You don't have to talk to a faculty member. And what I did just a couple of months ago, I lead a Chief Information Systems Officers Association. I'm the board president for that association.
In addition to everything else you do.
So we had our conference back last month. So one of the sessions I facilitated was about this course assistance brought in a couple of faculty members. And I wanted their experiences. They did it for a semester and asked, and they were both excited. It was really good for students. Sometimes students also don't want to ask questions to their professors because they don't want to sound like I don't know, right? With that, the resources are available. They can do their research. They bring in whatever it is that they do. One faculty member said they saw a grade going up because now students are excited. They are understanding.
I think it's a value proposition.
Right?
Yep.
They're understanding what they're learning. So that's how kind of bringing it in. We have a couple of faculty members started to participate. So that is exciting for me. So we're going to just continue with that. It's more of spreading the awareness. And here's the thing. AI is not replacing human. AI is replacing tasks. Now, human without AI tool and the person with AI tool, now you can see who's going to win for a job, right? You go for it. Like your point, Joe, if you don't know how to use the tool, yeah, the companies are also going to say, well, I'm going to go with someone who knows how to use it and get the job done.
I love the point you make about it replacing tasks. When I speak to faculty about AI, and we know that there's fear and there's anxiety and there's concern about what it means for the academic enterprise and the mission, I talk to them about how it makes your life as a faculty member easier in some ways so that you can be more impactful in how you deliver the educational experience to students. And I think that that messaging actually connects with some, not all, let's be honest, not all of them, but I love that that's the messaging that you're approaching it from too.
Yeah, so it's exciting. There's a lot happening and, just doing so much and then seeing the actual impact that will come to our students, that's where the excitement comes in.
Rupa, we're here with, 5,000 of our colleagues across higher education. It is a massive conference here. One of the I think it's the best attendance we've ever had at eLive before, record attendance. In a time of uncertainty in higher education, those two things don't usually go together, where you have so much uncertainty and so many people looking for, because spending is tight and all these things. But higher ed is saying, go out, network. Why is that so important, and why is eLive a marquee event in the space?
Well, networking is crucial for me because we learn from each other, right? The tools are there, but networking is very important to learn from. What is your institution doing? And then eLive brings so many of us together, and this is the time to connect. So for me, I would definitely attend, and that's what a lot of our colleagues are doing, and sharing our ideas, why we're doing what we're doing, and then learning from Ellucian Live here as well. There's so much. What I'm excited about eLive here is the new website, the new logo.
New branding, new website.
Branding is beautiful. I saw the website. I'm like, oh, this looks
Thank you.
really
I came
nice.
up with all of it myself without any help. No, I had nothing to do with it. It's amazing, Greg, John Grande, and our marketing team, because Ellucian is a future first, student first, higher ed focused organization, and we are leading these conversations. You are leading these conversations in your area, and the partnership that Ellucian and Coast has is amazing, and you just can't do it on your own these days. You have to have great partners.
Absolutely, and thanks to Laura.
Yeah,
the CEO.
Laura Ibsen.
Yes, and she's amazing. She really, really cares about higher ed, so she's a true partner, that's for sure.
What else do you want to say about Coast Community College District? Anything else that you want to leave the audience with?
Well, we have 3 colleges. Orange Coast College is the very first community college that is providing student housing. And we have wonderful, amazing programs at Orange Coast College, and same with Coastline. Now, Coastline College is, again, one of the first one in California State is starting up with CBE, which is competency-based
education.
Right, and we were the first.
We can have a whole nother episode if you'd like about CBE.
So
it's like one of my favorite topics.
Yeah, and Golden West also has amazing programs. Like we got nursing programs, we got police academy. So if you're in California, you're looking for classes, come to Coast Colleges.
Awesome.
There you have it, everybody. The first episode that we have recorded here at Ellucian Live 2025 in Orlando, Florida, with the one, the only, Rupa Saran. She's Vice Chancellor and Chief Information Technology Officer with the longest title in higher education, but the best, from Coast Community College District. Rupa, thanks for being here, and we love you. We appreciate you coming back. You're just such a forward-thinking, bleeding-edge leader, and it's a real honor to hear what you're dealing with and what you're doing.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Ladies and gentlemen, you've just ed up to